Well, here we are, everybody, finishing out the last episode, What Nobody Understands About Josh. And, after that, then we can start getting a little bit deeper into the history of the group and stuff like that. So I'm pretty excited. And, of course, this comes from Casual Chuck. Super cool dude. Love his stuff. This is going to be super cool. And let's check it out. This one, I have to say, I feel like that I'm the most interested in, because at this point, I feel like he's the one who really kind of gets the least amount of attention, if that makes sense.
Lang ako hindi legit, pero dati dumadayo talaga ako ng Dota. Sabi nga nila, unique yung voice ko. Hindi na lang sinabing pangit.
SB19 Josh embodies the word charisma in the P-pop industry. Some people would even kill just to get a taste of his life, surrounded by loyal friends and fans who would do everything for his success. However, behind the golden facade hides the painful truth. From falsely accused of cheating in games to proving himself innocent by becoming a champion. Some haters even see him as the group's weakest link. So in today's video, haters will be proven wrong and viewers will be given inspiration, because his journey is nothing short of electrifying.
Bro's jacked.
Let's go, Josh! Josh Cullen Santos was born in Las Piñas City, Philippines. He was raised by his mom, Aldrin, along with his sister, Yuna. He also had two other siblings who didn't grow up with him, and they remain undisclosed to this day. When Josh was 3 years old, they moved to Imus, Cavite. Having a single mom, Josh and his sister had to be entrusted to the care of a housemaid because their mom had to work away from home to support them. But instead of receiving care, they experienced hell at a very young age because this so-called housemaid physically tortured them by making them strip and pouring melted candle wax all over their bodies. I'm not even sure how long this went on. Probably long enough that Josh was already able to remember it before the abuser got eventually apprehended and put into jail. He even shared that he still has the burn scars to this day. Josh was a very smart kid, as he was a consistent honor student until he reached the 3rd grade. This was when things started to take a turn for the worst. Josh had to drop out of school with his sister because their mom couldn't afford their tuition anymore. They re-enrolled the next year, only to drop out again for the same reason. So Josh's former classmates became his sister's classmates, which led to her getting bullied at school for being a repeater. There was an instance when Josh got into a fist fight against his own former classmates to defend his sister. Imagine how messed up that is.
That's wild.
Anyway, their family's financial standing gradually went on a downward spiral. They were barely eating once a day. It even came to a point when they only ate salt, soy sauce, and ketchup as their viand dish. They moved homes constantly from medium-sized apartments to smaller ones. Now, I don't know exactly how their situation got so fucked up this quickly, but Josh openly talked about it on his YouTube channel. So going back, there was no denying that young Josh and his sister were in a very uncomfortable environment growing up.
Wow.
I can imagine how their living conditions could mess with their head, especially at a very young age. This was when their coping mechanisms started showing up. For Josh's sister, it was rebellion. She constantly got into intense arguments with their mom, so she was barely at home. Josh was even asked to look for her at some point, and that's when he found out that his sister had started drinking. As a young teenager, Josh didn't know how to handle the situation, so he kept it secret and took care of his sister in his own way. Yuna even talked about this in public.
Puro hirap yung naranasan namin eh. Alam mo yun, kaya masakit sa akin pag nakikita ko rin nahihirapan yung kapatid ko. Kaya ngayon, masaya ako kasi na-achieve niya yung mga gusto niya. Akala ko iwan niya na ako. Hindi, siya lang yung kasama ko. Hindi ko kaya siguro pag iniwan niya ako. sayote.
Cute kids.
Pag wala kami talagang pagkain nun, yung sayote kukunin ko, bili ko nun, lulutuin ko, tapos yun yung kakainin namin. Tama yung hindi niya ako kayang buhatin, pero bubuhatin niya ako. Yes, si Josh, ganyan yan dati si Josh, ganun siya kabait. Susunduin niya ako, ihatid niya ako sa bahay. Ate, lasing ka na naman, ginaganon niya ako. Bigla na lang ako PPM na, uy ate, huwag kang matakot na, mag-stand to your own, out of your box. Hindi niya ako iniwan. Natutulog ako sa likod ng multicam. Tapos nakita ko ni Josh, ang ginagawa mo dyan? Baho mo na. Sabi niya gano'n. Sabi niya, mamaya, alis si mama, maligo ka ha. Pag alis ni mama, gano'n niya ako. Tapos, di ba nasa bahay pa si mama, ayaw ako pumasok. Dadala niya ako pagkain doon. Nalikot na ako sa pick-up.
This only showcased that Josh already had a good heart from the start. And if you think they already went through the worst, it only gets even worse. Josh got diagnosed with stage 3 dengue. And it was so crazy because they only found out about it when Josh started puking blood. So he immediately got hospitalized, which meant draining their finances even more. The good thing about it was that they had a relative in the US who lent them some financial assistance.
Nice.
He gradually got better and got out of the hospital.
Good.
They were fine for a while until their family's loans started piling up and there was nowhere else to borrow money from. They hit rock bottom to the point that they were forcefully evicted from their rented home, and I don't mean just receiving an eviction letter, but actually having a squad of authorities haul their belongings off the property.
Dang.
Josh saw this moment as his wake-up call. He was so fed up with the situation, so he decided to take matters into his own hands by leaving his family to become independent. He started working as an internet cafe attendant while crashing into his friend's house and didn't even mind sleeping on the floor. If his sister's coping mechanism was rebellion, his was different. It was gaming. He fell in love with highly competitive games such as Dota, Dance Dance Revolution,
Oh, Dance
Call of
Dance.
Duty, and more. Do you remember the old stereotype when this look is considered as an okay player while this one is the epitome of someone who could give you a run for your money? Well, Josh was exactly that. He could build Lothar's Edge in 5 minutes and he used to visit nearby towns' internet cafes with his buddies to play competitive Dota via LAN and won most of them. There was an
Wow.
arcade called Flashback in Cavite where the name Byte was commonly seen in the top score leaderboards. And guess what? That name belongs to this kid. His name earned the reputation of a DDR master. He even competed professionally and became a champion. He got so good at video games that when he started playing Call of Duty, most of his opponents mass reported him because they thought he was cheating. In reality, he was just too good. This led to his account getting wrongfully banned. So this was definitely a huge setback for him.
That's
But
wild.
Josh wasn't gonna go down without a fight because after a couple of years, he would join one of the biggest Call of Duty tournaments and end up winning the entire
Oh
thing.
my
We're down to
goodness.
just 40 players left alive, and yeah, it's an attempted backstab, but yeah, Josh is on the case. We want to congratulate you on your victory. I mean, you won the showdown, an incredible run. But how do you feel? How are you feeling right now?
Well, I'm actually really overwhelmed right now. Honestly, I didn't get to play Warzone for almost 2 years already. After the
He did it live while thousands of viewers were watching. He didn't only prove that he wasn't a cheater, but he also showed that he was a force to be reckoned with as a gamer. By doing this, he earned the respect of gamers all over the world. Am I enjoying too much talking about Josh's gaming redemption arc that I forgot to talk about his job? Sorry guys. So while working as an internet cafe attendant, he started reviewing for the alternative learning system. Due to his innate brilliance, he easily acquired his high school diploma around 2010,
Nice.
which is around the same time when K-pop exploded in the Philippines. He inevitably got exposed to K-pop and immediately liked Big Bang, so he started going to K-pop events where he eventually saw Stell performing with Seiyon. Josh became an instant fanboy. Just take a look at his old tweets. Stell pretty much inspired him and made him want to become a performer.
That's so
Josh's new
crazy.
quest was officially on. He formed a dance crew with his gaming buddies and they called themselves Big Bang.
question too.
We all start somewhere, don't you agree? Back to his job, the family who owns the internet cafe he was working at apparently wanted to adopt him, but their attitude towards him noticeably changed after finding out that Josh had started performing. They suddenly increased his 9-hour shift to 18 hours, which left him no choice but to quit the job. He was given only a week's notice, so he had to find a new one as quickly as possible. His best option was to apply as a call center agent. In his first 2 attempts, he passed everything except the final interview because he was lacking a college degree. So he tried to put college undergrad on his resume, and that's when he got accepted. He finally found a stable job that allowed him to pursue his dreams. He continued performing, which led to him crossing paths with amazing performers such as C13 of SNJ, getting mentored by Stel with Seon, competing against Ken's Amigos, and then becoming a mentor himself to Justin with Zero to Hero. It's so amazing how he quickly evolved as a powerhouse performer even before the whole training thing with Show BT. In fact, he would become one of the biggest reasons why SB19 came to be because he was the one who recruited Ken and Justin.
That's right. I forgot about that.
During their rise in popularity, Josh started hearing about his long-lost father.
Opo, never po. Recently po parang may nagpakilala po sa akin na kapatid po ng father ko. Kaso daw po, wala na daw sa katinoang isip. So, nagmove on na lang po.
Tough.
So fast forward to today, Josh is now a part of the greatest P-pop boy group ever assembled, backed with almost unbreakable records and even more achievements in the years to come. And speaking of achievements, you can become an executive producer by signing up for our channel's highest tier. Not only you will help the channel, but you will also help SB9 team to be promoted worldwide through my videos. So after hearing Josh's story, would haters still think that he's the weakest link? In my opinion, it will be the opposite.
Yeah, that's a good point.
He pretty much blew the haters away. Everything that he went through taught him exceptional skills that gave him an unfair advantage in his chosen field. And he doesn't even brag about it. Just take a look at this one. Want more of this? Here you go. Contemporary? Check. Hip-hop? Check. Girly? Check. You can put a check as well on the musical instruments like the keyboard and the guitar. Even choreography. And talking about checks, how about fat checks? Because the dude is an investor and practices stock trading. It is even rumored that he's one of the richest SB19 members and makes the biggest business decisions for them. He gained the respect of his co-members because he's a survivor. He used his experience to keep the people around him involved, not just within his group, but also everyone in the music industry. He could easily become a life coach if he wanted to. Josh is simply the perfect example of talent and hard work. Which brings us to the lesson of his story. In his tale, we learn that no matter how broken your life becomes, everything will be fine as long as you don't break yourself. By not giving up, he slowly acquired different tools that would eventually allow him to fulfill his destiny. He believed that the best way to predict the future was to create it. So he kept learning and started surrounding himself with the best people available. He proved to us that failure only wins if we give it permission. And dreams do come true. It's just a matter of decision.
Cool. Really, really cool. That's actually a really cool story. I think that one thing that he said that really stands out to me is just like being the survivor. It's kind of like, to me, I find it interesting because to me, he comes across as like the most quiet and like, he's always just kind of sitting in the corner. He's like, yeah, well, you know, and meanwhile, he's gone on to do about all this stuff. And it's kind of interesting because a lot of times when people are like this, they're not generally very braggadocious, which I think is super crazy because obviously he has the ability to be as braggadocious as he wants, but he keeps the tone down. He knows that his work speaks for itself, and that's a good thing to remember. And I love that inspiration. That makes me want to be better and want me to move forward as well as a person. This is incredibly inspiring. Casual Check, these videos are awesome. I love these. We're going to continue down some of these for sure. Thank you so much. And we'll see you for the next one. Very cool. Much respect to Josh.